Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Hope we're all well, and welcome to Dan Rock's Rock Box on this Wednesday evening. Hope we're all well. Hope we're all good. Hey, Carolyn. Hey, Janet. Hey, Anna. I hope we're all well and had a good day. So, tonight is our special guest night. And tonight we've got the lovely Kieron. Now he is just checking into the waiting room. So, and as most of you will know, he has come on board on the last two Monday nights, collaborating with card readings. So tonight we're going to be discussing a little bit more in how this amazing man works. So if we are all settled, if we're all ready, then I will introduce our Wednesday night guest. Evening, Shardy. Hey, Camden. Hey, Leslie. So, and again, please, guys, if you've got any questions at all regarding tarot, anything at all, do drop us a comment and I'll put it up on the screen for Kieron to answer. Okay, and I think he may be doing some readings as well, but we'll see how he feels. But anyway, let's bring on the man himself. So everyone, please welcome Kieron.
Hello, mate. How's it going?
How are you? All right?
Stressful moment. The internet just died, but it's back, so it's all right.
I was literally looking at the clock and I just went, he's just disconnected himself. Bear!
Yeah.
I'm meant to be going
not intentional, mate.
But hey, we all have to make an entrance, and you made an entrance.
Absolutely. You know me. It's all good. Yeah, I'm really hoping it's sorted now. It's saying it's up, so it's all good. Wow, look at all these people.
You should be all good. Yep. Carolyn said
yeah.
hi, Kieron. Yeah. Leslie said hello, Kieron. So you've been on a little bit the last two Mondays, and we've had a little introduction from you, but tonight it's about going a little bit deeper. So for you, for our listeners, just give us a little bit of your background. How did you come about the tarot, and what's your spiritual path?
Yeah, that's always an interesting one. So essentially, from a really young age, I was always drawn to ghost programs. I spent many hours, probably weeks into years, watching ghost programs and never really knowing why. But it was always, well, I do know why now. Through some traumas, through some wanting to know answers, but that's like a retrospective thinking now. Essentially, at the time, I was looking for a way to grieve, a way for answers, but essentially a way to show an afterlife or understand that things happen after the passing of a loved one. So for that was in quite early sort of adulthood, and then in 2014 my mum passed on, and that was already a stressful time, but then there's other situations going around as well. And she came to me in a dream. And this is quite probably a well-known story now, but she came to me quite like Temperance in the white dress, without the wings, but with the headpiece going on, the white gown, and she was above me in pitch black in the middle of the night, and said what she had to say and did what she had to do, and then just disappeared as gracefully. And understandably, I wanted to know more. I wanted to know what, how, or why she would come back, or how. More importantly, because it's really difficult when you see someone. Someone's physical remains and you know there's no heart beating or blood pumping and they've passed on, and then in the next thing, you the thing about her death was that it's as traumatic as death comes. Like, she was terminally ill, but she deteriorated so much, that when she came back in this dream, it was not any vision like that. She was just as I would like to remember, or maybe how she would like to be remembered.
And I think
so
that's important, because
yeah,
we've both suffered that, and both our mums have been terminal. And the last few weeks of my mum are the images I don't want to have as that. And it was nice to have some sort of vision of remembrance of what she used to be like, and that is really important.
Yeah, well, that's it. I think it's such a sort of vivid image, isn't it? That stressful moment where someone's, again, heart stopped beating, and everything becomes so real. So in this dream, she came back an image of beauty, and like the Temperess, she always had quite short hair. She was a bit older, sort of very wise, and more importantly, she always said from the point where I mean, it's probably from the point before, but she always said when she was ill, I'm going to come back and haunt you when I'm dead. And I said, wow, that'll be that, like, I'll believe it when I see it. And then this one night I seen it, and I think, wow, like, if I ever needed more proof or more validation that there was something beyond skin and bone, that was the moment.
Definitely.
So yeah, that was well, yeah. It was a
in
healing moment, but it throws up more questions. What's that, bud?
So that was in 2014.
Yeah.
So was you already in the tarot? Was you already doing tarot then, or?
No. I just had this interest in ghost programs or paranormal, which again was from quite an early age. And then I came across a random ad that pops up at these really coincidental times, and the class was just in the local town. So I went along, did a few sessions, and then one of the next sessions was tarot. So Nick came in, the chap who sort of introduced me and to it all, and he had the same deck, Rider-Waite deck, and we sat down and just did some general off the cuff sort of reading of the card, not necessarily a reading, what you feel or what you get from that card. And I never looked back since, really. Or I have looked back since a few times where I feel like the same as everyone. Is this the right path? Am I doing the right thing? Why am I qualified for this, if you know what I mean? But yeah, from that point, it sort of almost seemed to make sense.
Absolutely. That's when we find that light bulb moment and realize, everything happens for a reason, and I think this is why everything happened.
Yeah. Well, certainly in the pattern or the way that it did. Do you know what I mean? Now I look back and I think, geez, that's I love those points where you can pin it like a map almost. The specific points where things happened, and it just like it makes so much sense in retrospect, but very stressful in the time, you know.
Absolutely. So you've got the Rider-Waite tarot cards.
Yep.
Now these are kind of like the traditional cards. I mean, there's so many different variants out there, but I think my understanding is that this the deck, that the mother deck that all these other decks spread from.
Well, something along those lines are definite. I mean, the box says the first deck was 1910, so I'm fairly sure there was a lot of sort of different understandings at that point, but this seems to be a bit of a hitter, you know. And strangely enough, I connected to Nick's cards, which is bizarre because you don't necessarily connect to someone else's cards, their energy. But I went home and bought some sort of instantly, and felt the same or very similar connection to these. So they're
What
the
works
only
for
ones that.
you is all good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you guys out there have got any questions at all regarding the tarot, then please feel free to ask. You know, there's numerous spreads. Do you work with card spreads? Do you?
Part of the so I went to the level of getting certified. Whether you can be certified in such things is a different matter. But we went through traditional spreads and different. But I don't do that necessarily. When I read, if you come to a reading situation, no, I don't. It's just how I'm drawn to put the cards down.
Yeah.
There's something about my mission that I'm aware of, that I need to sort of break stereotypes, because it's something that stressed me out ever since the point I picked up the cards. There's not an awful lot of male energy. It's not a male predominant thing. There's a lot of stereotypical methods in which people read cards, and a lot of stereotypical understanding of an individual card. Now, none of those are the way that I work, although we bring that balance of female and male energy. I don't use books, and I don't use a specific way of setting cards out. It's just not my style.
No. But, and I mean, I've just noticed my most beautiful friend, Karen, Price, she's on someone who, you know, we see regularly, and it's killing us because we've not seen her often. And I know very much she's in that same mode, because so many people read that book that comes with the deck. They study it word for word, and it's like, no. And I know when she published her Oracle deck, no book was involved, because she wanted people to interpret it themselves. So absolutely, books are not needed. You are the book. You are that knowledge.
Yeah, that's it. That's absolutely. And no matter what you read, you can read from that book, and that's not a problem. But not every person you read for is going to be in the same situation, or that is not going to be relevant in the same way. Which is why I like using the cards. You know, I've read for good hundreds of people with these cards, and quite often, well, you'll see it on a live where you pull the same card and something completely different it comes out, where to the point where it's not even relative, if you was to read the book, to that wand or to that cup. It's just that's the feeling I get, and yeah, it works that way for me.
Absolutely. Are you up for doing? Karen has just asked if she can have something about moving. Pretty please. Are you up for doing a reading?
Yeah, no problem at all.
I'll want the comment up for you.
Yeah. That's not a bizarre question, is it? It's a very mundane question, but you know, I get a real frustrating feeling in my lower back that tells me that it's to me either not a wanted move, or it's caused a load more hassle than it should have. Essentially, this sort of uncomfortable feeling, and the card that I got coincidentally is Devil. You know. He's a real frustrating get in these cards, and when you talk of stereotypes and you talk of these words that have been spoken for hundreds and hundreds of years, you always see the same cards come up, and it's the devil, death, the tower, all those really morbid cards that have been talked about in a pretty horrific way for a long time. If you consider the way that tarot used to be read. So the devil for me, alongside this uncomfortable feeling, is it's bizarre. Your comment, Karen, doesn't mention homes. It doesn't mention anything. It just mentions moving. Can I have something about moving, pretty please? The big part of me screams I don't want to move. There's something in my energy where that frees or that sticks and just says, actually, I'm quite comfortable where I am. And although movement is good in its own sense, you can move freely as and when you choose. I don't know if this move is being pushed upon you, or it's an idea that maybe isn't your own, but I get the impression you're quite comfortable where you are. I don't know if that is relative in any sense or form. But the devil, in this sense, to me, is an outside energy. It's someone that is a bit reluctant or a bit stale in the energy, that doesn't, where those points don't quite synchronize, and in some time, time, things will align a bit easier. Things become a bit easier. It's just about two stubborn people potentially not seeing the same goal at the moment.
I like that. Absolutely. I think that would resonate with Kieron on some certain levels. Absolutely. Brilliant. Got a question for Shardy.
Yeah.
What kind of questions can you ask the deck? How far can you go with it? Been having some nightmares this week and trying to work out what the info is telling me. Can cards help with something like that?
Quite possibly, yes, because cards are an extension of my ability. I don't know if that's the right word. I don't know, but the card is just a sort of extension of the channeling, if you like. So I can certainly have a look. What kind of questions can you ask the card? Essentially anything, but it's always good to have an intention behind it. How far can you go with it? A card is, quite often when I'm in a reading, I'll try and disregard the cards completely, because they're a great distraction. When you're in a flow, or when you feel certain things, it's a great distraction to see a picture, and it's quite frustrating in a way. But what is the question? I've been having some nightmares this week, trying to work out on what the info is telling me. Can the cards help with something like that? Probably not. I've just drawn the Hermit, which I always find his character frustrating. The Hermit is this person that, in the greatest sense of the picture, is looking so much on the outside. You've got a light. There's nothing going on in this picture apart from this one person and his light. So he's looking so hard on the external, and as you can see from the picture, there's nothing there to see. It is this one person and their emotion, this one person, their being, and there's no surprise that's one staff that he's holding. It's a very frustrating card for people that look exteriorly for the wrong answers, or maybe asking the wrong questions. Now that probably brings you no help whatsoever, Shardy, but I feel like the answers again are on the inside. You will, we talk about synchronization, different things will synchronize in these dreams, different points will become more vivid or more rememberable, and they're the points to take as to try and learn something from it. What is it there for? That those vivid dreams are the points that you need to learn from. Is it an insecurity? Is there a threat against you in these dreams? Although I should be trying to figure it out, I think that there's a lot that you can answer for yourself from those very personal things. It's the thing with dreams, isn't it? It's a very personal thing, and what makes sense to one person could horrify another person. So it's very personal. Pick out the points that you find most valid and the points that you are most freaked out by, I guess. What can you learn from those?
Very good. Very good. Absolutely. Brilliant advice. We got a question from Anna Smith.
Yeah.
It's now blocked. Not so much a question, but I've been spiritual since a very young age, but more psychic level, to the extent premonitions were overwhelming in my teens. Long story short, I knew my mum was going to pass over to spirit from about 12 years old. and when she did pass, I was 17. I hit darkness, which now I understand was a psychic block. When you said about the trauma being like a trigger, it took me until 2017 to allow spirit to communicate with me fully, but confidence to do reading. I think we missed.
Someone's missing on the end.
Yeah,
Confidence to do reading, from the understanding of how that's written, is something that you are lacking. And um, I did it on Monday. There is no time limit to grief. There's no the problem is that, and the thing that I did is that I got so consumed by the one, and when I say that I've watched hours and hours and probably months worth of ghost programs, there's no understatement. It consumed my life around this need to know, and then you put everything else on hold, and it becomes so again consuming, when you that's the only thing you think of, and when something is different, it comes back to you. It's such a stressful place to be. So maybe don't put pressure on reading. Keep working with your spirits and learn to strengthen those via your meditation, via whatever it is that gets you going. Learn to strengthen those connections, I guess. Go to the place where you need to be in a physical area, a nice quiet field, woods, your bedroom, wherever you feel safe and comfortable to do the work that you need to do, and get it done. And even to an external sense, there is places and healers, and even the mainstream counselling. I did a 15-week session of that, and the things that it helps you to realise, even in a spiritual sense, or the questions that were answered because it sort of just made sense in that way. The need, or the need for answers. So it's a very traumatic time, and I still to this point wait for that phone call or that voice, or that you wish for another moment, and it just doesn't work that way. And that again, if you consume life too much of it, becomes a real stressful thing. So allowing, I have to read the bottom of the thing. Until 2017, allowed spirit to communicate me fully, but confidence to reading. So again, going back to the confidence, there must be something in your body that's not quite ready or aligned, or you have still questions to answer before you're confident enough to be able to do that. That's only my opinion. You may be the most competent person on the outside and the most stressful on the inside, which is again a rather stressful situation. It's all about finding that time to just be and understand and work through things, and it'll all sort of slowly align.
fantastic. And also, Kieron has got his own Facebook page, Fusion Tarot. So if there's a little bit more that you need to add to that, or you felt like you needed a little bit more help because half of your question was cut, then do get in touch with him. Do ask him on after the show. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you, Anna. Janet, will I hear from a particular man, as I need a conclusion?
Do you know what I get the strong feeling, and this sort of backs me up a little bit. Why don't you step out of that comfort zone, Janet, and put your cards on the table? I know it's not very chivalrous or whatever the word may be, but take this opportunity to say, actually, this is how I feel. Because right now you're putting your world on pause or on hold or on a line, waiting for a call or some sort of communication with someone that may not even feel the way you feel. And I know that sounds harsh, but let's put a bit of confidence on the line, and maybe a bit of pride, and just say, look, this is how I feel. Is that a reflection of how you feel? I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if that is a help of any sort. But the sword in this card is a very strong, headstrong, confident person that knows what they want and how to get it, you know. So waiting around, I don't actually know you, Janet, but I don't know if that's your style particularly. I feel like you're a bit outgoing, so don't wait around in this moment. Be the forward mover.
Fantastic. Let us know, Janet.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. The beautiful Dawn Parker. I'm getting to know the major arcana, but I struggle with the minor cards. Do you have any advice, please, on how I could become more familiar with these?
Yeah, sort of. My advice, or the way I work, is just to sit in that moment with those cards without any pressure, without needing an answer or an explanation of it, and just sit and feel the vibration of it, feel how you feel about the card or what you understand from the card. You don't, like I say, need books or a written essay to tell you what the card feels. It's very much, I love these cards in the sense that the pictures are very dramatized. Like it's a real big motivator or insight into what that card should mean, given that you've got a general understanding. So just keep working with it, sit with them, keep even if you're in the place where you're just shuffling them, getting to know the energy, feeling of the cards, putting your little stamp on it. That to me was be where I'd be at. And again, no pressure. You know, is when we put pressure on things, it becomes a different situation. So just go with it.
Absolutely. I used to very much like my crystals. I would work with one card for the week.
Right.
And a little bit like crystals, there'd be some crystals that will want to come with me for that week. There were some crystals that didn't. And a bit like the minor cards, there were some cards that just didn't want me to carry with them. So I just left them be until that time was right for me to put my energy onto that. But yeah, absolutely, I agree with putting your stamp on that, shuffling them cards, you know, and just, yeah, I think I used to have mine blue tacked sometimes into cupboards. So in the mornings when I was making a cup of tea, I'd open one up and there'd be the Ace of Wands. Open one up, there'd be Ace of Swords. And I'd be like, oh, okay. Yeah. I had them all dotted around the house.
Do you know what? I like to think of it as no different to going to the supermarket where you get the feel person or the people that you're walking around with. There's always that person that you feel a bit apprehensive about, or the person that you'd quite happily help to get the tin of soup off the shelf. You know, if you've got a general understanding of people's energy or certainly their mood, I think you're onto a winner. You know, it's just a case of adapting that to the energy that you're sort of or that are being put into the cards.
Brilliant. Fantastic. Thank you, Dawn. Hayley, could I possibly have a reading, please?
Yeah. I have to stress that being time restricted, it will be a very short sort of reading, but you're more than welcome to have a card or two. Yeah, do you know what? It's an interesting feeling. I've got the of fortune, but the energy I get in my physical is that is very sort of not frozen, but unsure of the next move. Now, the wheel of fortune to me would be an understanding that the move is wherever you want to take it. Essentially, your interests, or certainly a combination of the of what's going on. You know, my name or page on or the business that I come from, Fusion Tarot. The fusion part of it was the fusion of a number of situations and understandings to get to the point where I am. So nobody's going to say you're getting to this point and everything's going to be jolly, or you're going to be happy, or life is going to be corrected. But you do almost need to take the step into picking something to focus on. Wheel of Fortune is saying that all the options are there for you. It's just a case of taking the big jump. What feels like quite a stressful decision may well become a lot simpler when you decide that it's the right thing to do. I also love the energy that comes with the Wheel of Fortune. It's so motivating. It's such a kick up the bum to be able to say, you know what, they're my decisions to make now. And no matter who you ask externally, you will always be responsible for the answer or the choice that you choose. So yeah, the tarot can say one thing, spirit can say one thing, but the Wheel of Fortune says it's yours, isn't it? That choice, that decision's yours. So please don't choose recklessly, but you have to do what is good for you, you know?
Perfect stuff. Perfect. Hope that resonates with you there, Hayley. Thank you, sweetheart. Just getting some replies back from previous questions you answered. From Shardy, thank you, Kieron. That's the question I'm asking myself. What is the lesson? Also, I get premonitions and past life remembrances in my sleep, and discerning what it is what is difficult. The feeling when I wake is horrible. The dreams are all different, totally different subjects and feelings, so I don't feel they are connected. I'll try and trust in my gut instinct on them.
Yeah, do you know, I love the part in your message where it says you don't feel they are connected. Now, this is quite a valid point, but also what you're one individual being, and not all dreams can be sort of broken down for a message, but also you are not just one being with one interest or one understanding. When from the age where we go to school, from the age before that, when we're born, we're picking up information from other people constantly. We learn to speak, to walk, to understand, to our wrongs and rights and our P's and Q's, you know, and they're all picked up from other people. So what I would say to you is break down what is for you and discard what you've been taught almost in a way with this. Dreams, certainly vivid ones, are there for a reason, I feel. And for whatever reason they happen, it's do you know what, I'm getting prompted to say that in your sleep is when your conscious level is lower, so there's like a healing process that goes on in the midst as well. So quite often these things are thrown up for a reason, for healing, for just acknowledgement as well. So just acknowledge that that's passed through for whatever reason, and we'll work with that. And not everything's there to be held on to, which is probably two very different messages. But take what you can in terms of, I feel that's connected for me, I feel that deeply as a message for me, and disconcern the stuff that you feel has been shown to you or brought to you for a reason to heal, bringing something up for that reason. Do you know, there's more in-depth thing there, but I don't know that is massively appropriate for a live reading. So if you feel drawn to, drop me a message after, because there's more there for you.
I think so.
Makes sense.
I think there is something here that needs to be discussed, not on live, but absolutely.
No.
Perfect.
This is in our prior little chat where I love doing this, but also I'm very aware that there's not just one person that you're talking to. It's an audience of people. So it's like, yeah, everything in its way must be said, but there's a very appropriate way to say those things. And if it's not a case where it can be spoke about in front of people on the internet, then please directly message and we'll sort it one way.
That's why I thought it was quite good just for us to keep the comments rather than having people coming up on screen, because I always duck down and allow you to be with the member that you're reading for, but then also seeing their faces, you automatically just go into a personal bubble, completely forget about the outside. And yeah, so absolutely, Kieron. Perfect, mate. Anna, thank you, Kieron. That makes sense. I have grieved for my mum, and I've linked with my mum a few times in the last 2 years. Really understand the confidence advice as well. Good. Well, good. Fantastic.
Yeah, yeah. And that the thing of that is that mum will come back when she. I'm 100% convinced that as much as spirit are around us and they sort of are very sort of involved in the observation of life, when you come to a point where you can just be in that moment, I think they're off doing their own thing. You know, I really understand to the best of my knowledge that family collective is not one person, um, and if this spirit, this next thing that we're all unaware of, is a thing, which it is a thing, why would you spend all your time with your family? You'd be off exploring or doing the things that we do in world, you know, making new memories or making new opportunities or doing what it is that you want to do. If when I pass, I'm not going to spend my ghostly life in my home watching bargain hunt. I'm going to be off traveling the world or doing whatever it is that I want to be doing, you know. And I have a real understanding that this is how spirit work. I might be 100% wrong, but you know what? For me, that is the understanding I have.
Yeah. Yeah. Who on earth would in spirit watch Bargain Hunt, eh? Perfect. Love it. Dawn Parker, she said, brilliant. Thank you for the advice for the remembering of the cards. Janet, I have given him space for him to deal with his past issues as he asked me to. He has lost a huge amount of money in a divorce, but I have told him that isn't important as we have a wealth of important stuff: love, friendship, roof over our heads, food, family. Ah.
Yeah, it's a frustrating time, isn't it? And unfortunately, the one thing that has not been acknowledged is pride. Now, I don't know this person, but I get the impression that the issue is I am relying on somebody else. Then I'm relying on the life they're creating for me, and almost to a degree, just being observant of that. Now, I know that sounds harsh because you want to build a life with somebody, but if you walk into somebody's life where you have nothing and they have everything to give, it feels like that there's a big dent in pride and all those things that really aren't quite important, but can destroy a person's being. Do you know what I mean?
Absolutely. That's what I'm thinking with that. I feel that he's got a bit of a dent at the moment. I think his pride is bruised, and yeah, he needs to go away, lick his wounds, or absolutely, he will feel that he is inadequate if he drops down to that. Yeah, I think that there is pride around this area, which is with him.
The frustrating thing is he's fully aware that that's the best move to make. The best thing for his life at this time would to be get involved with a person that he sees future with, but it's people of a certain generation or all generations. I'm not being generationist. Have this level where they just don't want to be seen to be given in. Do you know what I mean? If you've got family around you, and this person comes into your life, it's a horrible stereotype. We should all just be free to do what we want to do without the sort of the feeling of consequence, regardless of whether it's there. But unfortunately, that's not the way that everybody's brought up to feel or everybody's brought up to live.
Definitely, I think so. Yeah, I think he's still got a bit of stuff to sort out, but hopefully, you know, he can see what is right for him and do the right thing.
Yeah.
Dawn, do you use the Oracle cards? And if so, which do you prefer working with, the Tarot or Oracle cards?
You've got both, haven't you, Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah. I said it in the week. I literally only work with these cards. My wife bought me some lovely cards, and I can't remember for the life of me what they're called. But I tried to get to know them, and it just didn't work in the same way. So my cards are these sort of pretty worn, dirty tarot that, for whatever reason, I feel quite attached to. I don't know. I'd like to say that maybe one day I'll branch out, but I can't promise that.
Yeah. I think it depends on what you need. And again, it's down to personal preference. For me, tarot gives me a longer detailed outlook.
Yeah.
Whereas for me, an oracle would be a daily kind of, okay. You know, putting a card out of an oracle deck for me is a daily thing and looking to see where I'm going for that week. Whereas if I was doing a tarot, there would be a bigger map. I'll be able to see a lot further with the tarot than I can with an oracle. But that was my own personal take on working with the both and how I feel when I work with them.
I have been drawn to buy other cards, but at this point, I've never been so drawn that I've bought any more. So yeah, who knows where the future will go.
That's it. I like what you said to Dawn about remembering the cards. I mean, you say that they're grubby, those tarot cards, but they are just with your energy. They are so in you.
Saying I've got a grubby energy.
No, I'm not saying you've got a grubby energy.
You know what I mean? I don't think the light does them justice, but they're like.
But I'm just saying, because they're your only deck. And in all fairness, I think a lot of us who have Oracle and Tarot decks are actually quite envious of you. Because I would love to be able to work with just one deck and hone in on just one deck. But like many people out there, I hoard Oracle cards. I've only got one Tarot deck, but I've got so many Oracle cards. So for me, not saying that you're grubby, but I love the way that you have just got that one deck. So it is part of you. It is, you know, for that long, it is like in the back of your hand.
I'll show you. This is the box. That's no longer resembling a box. It's pretty worn. And then I went to the point where my wife went to the point of buying a bag, which again is pretty trash now. So I'm running out of options, but they're still here, so it's all good.
I think I've got a wooden box, Kieron.
Yeah, I think I've seen your one at somewhere, Awaken probably, but
yeah, I'll send you a wooden box, not a coffin.
No. Yeah, a grubby wooden box. That sounds good.
Wooden box. Oh, actually, we can meet. There's only two of us. Yeah. As long as there's not seven of us, we can meet.
It's only down the road. It's all good.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what, it would be so nice to actually see you face to face. It would be really great.
Yeah, we'll sort it out.
Shardy, thank you, Kieron. We'll message you. Very interested to hear your thoughts. Absolutely, Gal. Definitely.
Yeah. It was.
Anna's having a giggle at Bargain Hunt.
I'd be interested to see if any of my relics turn up on there, like these grubby vintage cards. But hey, I wouldn't be so intent on watching it every day. I still feel like I haven't fulfilled everything in life. So I imagine I'll get a similar sort of feeling on the other side. Who knows?
Yeah, and it'd be your turn to your time to do what you didn't have chance to do in the physical.
Yeah, absolutely. And you ain't got to pay like aeroplane fees or baggage allowance, any of that sort of stuff, have you?
No.
You're living the dream. I can go and haunt some old VW camper, and I ain't got to pay for it. Brilliant.
Absolute.
That changed slightly, didn't
Absolute.
it?
Love
Right.
it.
Let's. I'm intrigued. Peter asked, "Do you have a favourite card in the pack?" My
I
my
was going
my
to ask
favourite
that.
card and my only favourite card is as I explained, the Temperance, just because I know that my cards, although I've done quite a few readings, she very rarely comes out. So when she does, I feel like it's almost like a point of alignment, you know, especially when I'm feeling rubbish or I feel like I don't know if this is for me. Although it's somebody else's reading, she'll come out, and then I'll just feel like actually that's the point or the clarification or that I sort of need. Um, so maybe that's not the right way to feel about it, but Temperance is my favourite in my pack.
Perfect. Janet Powell, thank you both. Lucy, late again. Put that down in the class registrar.
That's every time, Lucy.
Every time.
Right,
Laurie,
every time.
yesterday was the anniversary of my brother's suicide. Is there a message for me?
Possibly not a message. I never claimed to be a medium, but what I feel you need to do is just breathe. I get given in a quite therapeutic sense. You know, when it's almost quite movie like, but you just see those little. I prefer refer to them as like little cotton buds, but those little flowers that just blow along the wind. You know, um, be like the wind and allow that energy and that moment and that day just to blow away as gently as possible. It's all about being gentle with yourself at this point, isn't it? It doesn't matter how stressful you could be, the most chilled person in the world, and those anniversary dates or those days sadly come around again, and it puts you in a different place. And what the message for you, I feel, is just don't be in that other place at the moment. Be kind to yourself, uh, and and just flow like the wind. Be loose. Don't hold any commitments for that week. Don't hold any. I need to be here, there, and everywhere. Just be yourself in that moment and float like the wind.
I like that. Beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know where it comes. It's like a meadow field, and it wouldn't be now because everything's going away, isn't it? But when it's spring and you've got all the daffodils and all those little light flowers that come out and sort of put us all in a good place, almost instantly is where you need to be, Laurie. I'm afraid it's that maybe not in the actual weather, but in your mind. If you can go to a place where it's happy and light with no pressure in life, then just be it. That the word suicide instantly invokes all these emotions and feelings and doubt and regret. With again, instantly, it's like such a pressure. Although you feel that with any person, I feel like suicide's particularly difficult because there's always a guilt feeling, isn't it? There's always a could I have done something? Could I have been more? Could I have stopped him essentially? And I feel like that you just have to let go of all that pressure, let go of all that anxiety that builds coming to the date, and just be, yeah, just be. There's no other word after that. Just be in that moment, um, and things become a little bit easier, you know.
Definitely. Beautiful. Thank you so much, Laurie. Nice,
Yes,
comforting words there.
it's a really difficult time, isn't it? But um, I I want to try and relate those difficult times to nice things, nice moments, nice memories, just nice feelings because we do all get so stressed and worked up. And the way life is generally at the moment, pressure on top of that is maybe the last thing we need. So yeah, just go with it.
Lovely. Lucy's apologised about being late, but she loves us both. That's yeah, that's cutting it fine.
Almost enough, isn't it? It's almost enough.
Janet Powell.
Thank you for the support, Lucy.
In my dreams most nights. I wake up exhausted some mornings. Sometimes I think this is a dream and sleep is reality. You're not the first person to think that.
No. And it's that's I can't remember the specific term because you've put me on the spot, but that's a very real thing, isn't it? There's so much about it where you look at dimensions or you look at astral planes, astral projection. I can't remember the specific term, Janet, and I apologize for that, but it's a very real thing. I feel like if you just you can be in those two places at once, and I don't know why, and I don't really know how, but it's a very real thing.
Absolutely. I think if Dawn or Peter Parker, if they're still on out and about, I know he knows a little bit about this time warping, so he might know the name of it. Yeah. Any other questions, guys? Anything else around the tarot for Kieron?
An early night, otherwise.
It will be an early night.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, I did want to talk a little bit about. Oh, carry on.
No, you carry on.
I did want to talk a little bit about sort of, I guess, motivations in life, and again, I'll keep saying it: the synchronization of different situations and understanding that maybe we didn't learn everything there was to learn from that last experience. So, like that cycle that everybody's aware of, you get thrown back into it, and it's so difficult when we talk about dreams or people's passings or any of those other situations to see the message directly or see the meaning directly, and I guess at times it's not always important to know the message, to know that or understand what you're supposed to be learning. Is when I've quite often thought or felt that in the time where everything is just a bit unsure, those are the messages that make the most sense. Again, those points that line up at specific periods in my life where it just thinks actually that makes a lot of sense. We all, especially when you're new to spirituality or you're new to this way of life or awakening, or and even when you're quite involved in the path, we still get thrown these things that the instant reaction is to look for the message or look for the answer. And it's I personally feel that's not always the way you're going to learn about that message, because the situation isn't always instantly finished for a start, and you need to let things play out. You can't get an instant clarification or an instant message from something that you're still deeply or emotionally involved with. I don't know. It's so quite often the motivation for me for going forward is not now, it's in 2 weeks' time when I look back at that situation and think, shit, there was I'm glad I've come through that, but I also understand that this has happened for a reason now, and I'm taking that information or the feeling. The feeling is what I relate to the most, that I enjoyed that, or that was really quite a negative experience, so I don't want to be doing that again.
Do you know what? It's very strange that you say that, because yesterday I did my interview with Jo Dutfield. She's got a radio show coming out of the dark on UK Sainty Radio, and I went on there. And it's not about your spiritualness, it's about your life behind that and how you came to be. And yeah, you know, there were some things that I revealed on her show, and I chose her show to talk about some things that, you know, not even my own mother, bless her heart, knew. I mean, she will do now because she's up there looking above and seeing everything. But yeah, there were some things that I've kept close to me for so long. And yeah, you do. And exactly, I look back, and would I change any of it? No, I would not. Because I know that every single part of that has brought me to where I am to this day. And yeah, absolutely. It is that, okay, I don't know what this is for, but now I'm sitting here and I could go back to there and go, yeah, I know exactly why that was.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I think
it is that motivation.
Yeah, I love that it doesn't have to be anything major either, you know. And this is when you're in a place that's a little bit stiller, and I'm not claiming to be in a place that's still by any means. You can, you've got time to be more relaxed, but it could just be a conversation. It could just be seeing somebody in the street that invokes that memory or that feeling or that whatever it is that you need to know or remember in that moment. And then again, it's just like, yeah, that's what it's all about in that point, in that time, you know. I love sleep, I love dreams, but the things I'd wish to dream are often not the things that I dream, you know. You can put so much pressure, especially on a loved one or a past one. I need to speak to that person, I need to connect to that person. There's so much pressure that you put on it that it can literally drive you mental, you know. That want for connection, or that want for the phone to ring, or the person just to speak to you, is such a real thing that it can drive you bloody insane. And it's not an easy thing to break down. It's not any, and there's certainly no understanding it when you're in that point of time where there's no answer and there's no one on the phone to ask, because the person you want to ask is the person that's not there. It's those are the times that the real reflection is coming from, I guess, in my experience. You know, we're all different.
Absolutely.
But yeah, there's still times where you just think, oh, the one person that I know would advise me on that is the one person that I can't ask. And then the spiritual sense comes to me, where there's these messages or these little synchronizations, or I mean, it's all individuals' beliefs to a degree, isn't it? But we love feathers, and we love in our house things go missing just randomly, like important things in the moment, but in the wider thing, probably not all that important, you know. So we get all these little kicks up the arse while we're going, just to keep going, essentially. But it all synchronizes back to that person, back to that time, you know, and back to our human experience. I think it's a bizarre but beautiful time.
Definitely. Beautifully put. Totally. I think most of us can resonate with most or majority of those words. And Dawn, sometimes I feel we are so worried about where we are going, we fail to fully appreciate where we are, and maybe we miss a lot of lessons that way.
Yeah,
Definitely.
absolutely. Yeah, and that's why in the times where, I mean, even when the times when you're the most chilled, it's all about the journey, isn't it, rather than the destination. It's that, you know, just going
Definitely.
with it, regardless of your path. Or we've got a sticker in one of our rooms that says always take the scenic route, and regardless of whether we try to plan something, it ends up that way, which is great.
Totally, because it's so many people dwell on the past. So many people, it means like at the moment people are looking to next year. They're already getting their 2021 diaries out, and you know, oh, when is this going to be over? When is this going to be over? It's like, well, just live now, just be now, and be in this. Don't look back to what it was before this happened, and don't look to when this is going to be over. Just be in the present.
That's the thing. You can do so much not living that way, can't you? You put everything on hold. I'm not seeing family. I'm not speaking to people that I love. I'm watching the news constantly, and you again get absorbed by this thing that is so much different, so much more. And it doesn't need to be that way. Regardless of whether you've got an interest in current affairs or you don't, it's just about being in that day-to-day situation, living that one day at a time, essentially.
Yeah.
I like this. A wise lady in spiritualist church said about 10 years ago, everything happens for a reason or a lifetime. That stuck with me.
I love that. Everything happens for a season, a reason, or a lifetime. I like that.
Yeah.
I think I've heard that before. It rings a bell. I think I've heard that saying a couple of years ago. So yeah,
I haven't heard the second part, but it makes an awful lot of sense, doesn't it?
it certainly does. Certainly does. Sarah May, she joined late. Another late arrival. No problem, sweetheart. What cards are good to start with?
Now, this is a real difficult question for me. I don't know if you've got a solid answer, Dan, but to me, it would be not necessarily looking at names or pictures or anything other than just walking past. If you've got opportunity, walking past or finding the thing you're drawn to. There's a reason why we're drawn to these things, and just because you're drawn for it doesn't mean it's going to work for you necessarily or you connect with those. But it's a bloody good place to start.
Because there is so much about your first deck of tarot. Because I got ridiculed because I bought my first tarot deck, and there's a big thing that you should never buy your deck. Someone must gift you that deck. All my family were Methodist Christians. I mean, I'd be waiting for a month of Sundays before someone brought me a pack of tarot cards. So I had to go and buy my own deck. You know, no one else would have bought it for me. So yeah, there is that whole thing. Yeah, you shouldn't, but you should. I've heard two sides of that, but I absolutely agree. Just go with what draws you in. Absolutely take a look around the shelves and just sit and think, right, what is pulling me? And go with that, just in your intuition.
We haven't got so much at the moment, but it's a great opportunity when those mind, body, spirit fairs come around, or when there's opportunity for you to see a lot of things on display, whether it's cards or pendulums or whatever it is that you're drawn to. Crystal, certainly, it's a great opportunity to then walk around and see and feel and maybe look and discover what it is that you're interested in.
Absolutely. She's also commented, Sarah, my car keys have been missing about 4 weeks now. Is that 4 weeks? I hope it's not been 4 years, because that's a long time for your keys to have gone missing 4 years.
There is a big part of we had a logbook, again, similar motoring issue, that needed to be filled in. It was in one specific place. We went to the place, it wasn't there. And then about 3 weeks after, it was on top of the drawer, literally just on top of the drawer as we opened it. Don't ask me why, when, how. I haven't got a clue. But what car keys are quite a specific thing, isn't it? It's quite a specific. There's a few lessons that you can live by that, or lessons you can learn, I guess, not live. Is your driving to a good standard, or do you consider it to be? Do you know what? It's not for me to comment either way. I get the feeling often when I'm driving a regular route that you start and then you end. There is no middle point, which is so bloody dangerous. But at the same time, it's like, what do I learn from that? So it may well be that there's something to understand about your driving, or that we have a spare. That's fine then. There's nothing to understand driving. Just be more careful the way you put your keys. yeah, no, there's been times where you get in a car and I start the engine and start driving, and then I'm at my destination and there's no middle part, um, which is dangerous, but also about living in that moment, isn't it? You've got to be very aware at times that it's difficult to be somewhere else.
Times I've done that, but with walking, if I'm walking to work or somewhere, and so many people have seen me when I'm walking, and they've tried to get my attention, and they're like, "Oh, I saw you the day, but you were completely out of it." And I do, and literally, I can remember leaving the house.
Yeah,
I can remember. I know turned up from work, and then I think, "How did I get here?" I can't remember anything about that duration, and it scares me because I cross so many busy roads, and I don't even know whether I stopped. Did I look both ways? Did I go by the traffic lights?
Did I press the button to stop the traffic, or did I walk past it? But it's there are times where being present and in this moment and certainly alive and kicking is so important.
Yeah, this is why my hobby will not.
You've probably got crystals and stones that can help you with that, but no. Get a magic carpet.
Yeah, I mean, that's it. It's like if I'm that easily distracted that just by walking, I switch off. Can you imagine me behind a wheel of a car? No, I can't.
Yeah.
Janet Powell, my mum would have loved to be part of this tribe. My mum would have as well. She would have loved to have been here now. Trouble is, I want to phone her and say watch, but I know she is watching, but I miss us talking about spiritual things. Yeah, I think we all can honor that and know exactly how that feels. Yeah, when I've had a successful thing.
Yeah. You going? Sorry, I'm
No, you go.
My mum used to do it very jovially. She used to. She would never admit that she believed, but she definitely did believe, and there was always a sense of freedom with it. She never stopped me consuming thousands of hours of ghost programs, and she never stopped me with different situations at home, because she believed, essentially. And the point where she said, "I'm going to haunt you," has never left me, because at that point was clarification of the future in a weird way, isn't it? It's like, and she stuck by her word. She did come and maybe not haunt. I think haunt's a bit drastic, but she was old and northern, which doesn't help matters. But she stuck by her word. It's great.
Lovely stuff. Absolutely. Shardy, yes, totally agree about the present. Everyone is focusing on when this is over. To me, that only leads to disappointment. We are where we are. Enjoy it. Yeah. Absolutely. And just with that as well, I know we've just had a message in from Anna. Elaine has mentioned it, I think, on the Oasis weekend. Everything you've both said about living in the present and being aware of the reasons for events throughout life really is nice to hear, because not many people think that way. Seeing the why things happened and not feeling resentment, therefore it's happening, is a big healing element.
Yeah. And again, that pressure to get an answer while the moment is so fresh is where the stress comes from. So you're letting that pass, and then in reflection, seeing the good in that. Because I'm not pretending that in stressful situations I am all love and light and I'll sit through it. That's not a reality of what life is it? We all get stressed and unbelievably frustrated. But in reflection, it's a different thing. It's fine. And seeing the reason, if you like, is a big bonus.
Absolutely. I never see anger on as a negative.
No.
I think we've got we've got to have that essence of anger, because sometimes that anger is because of how much we're passionate about something.
I was going to
And
say
I would
passionate.
rather see that somebody is passionate enough to be fueled by that than for them to just be like, yeah, whatever. That carefree attitude. Nah, be angry. I love a good plate sling. I do. Most nights it's Greek around our house,
So
so I'm always
Greek vibes, launching them.
I'm always flinging. It's my way. If something's got me really et up and has got me really mad, I just like to just put all that energy into that object and then just go, poof. I love it.
Watch Tigger bounce.
Hmm?
Poor thing. I said, watch Tigger bounce.
Yeah. Oh no,
But, yeah.
no. There's certain things I bounce off the walls. Not my Tigger mug. No. No. Absolutely.
Oh, Peter's on now, and he's
Peter, it's important to live for the moment, because tomorrow, today will be yesterday. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. And you know what? I believe there's a real conscious part of life where you come to the understanding that you can't just keep dragging things through day and another day. It has to sort of end with yesterday and start today. It becomes a real tiring thing if you constantly drag things through.
Yeah. Absolutely. And anger is flowing for me today. Thanks, Opal. Yeah. But it's telling you what you need to feel. It's giving you that option of, you need to let this ride. You need to feel all emotions and not shut yourself away from any of it. That's it. I don't like this love and light business. I just, you may as well give me a Holy Bible and ask me to recite the Lord's Prayer. It's just too love and light.
The problem is it can be just as destructive, can't it? To be all holier than that and not live life with those real feelings. If we're bottling it up and we're shutting things down, I spent a reasonable amount of childhood doing exactly the same, and then when it becomes to a point where you implode, like, who else is there to pick up the pieces? Essentially, you've got to do that work and work through things while they arise, rather than just shutting it down. Unfortunately,
definitely, you've got to feel it all. You can't. For me, when people walk around with love and light and just forgive and live on, and I feel like that they're the ostrich and they've got their head stuck in the sand, and I just think, do you actually know what's going on? Are you actually in touch with yourself? Because how can you go through that and not feel the feelings, the emotions that are naturally tied to that event or that situation?
Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
Just letting it flow and let it go.
Absolutely, Elsa. Absolutely, sweetheart.
Oh, you tripped me out for a minute then. It says no Elsa on there, but that's a nickname jobby. Elsa.
So yeah. Any more questions for this amazing guy?
It doesn't even necessarily have to be tire related. Yeah. I think it's that's how I wanted it from the get go. It's there is no pressure in tarot readings necessarily, because the answer's not for me, it's for the person, or the process is not really relative, is the way I've got to say it. But when you're just more chilled and things just flow, it's a more natural way of doing it.
Absolutely, definitely. It is and I like people when they're chilled. There's so many people that get nervous, so many people that stress out coming on here, and it's like, literally, don't worry. It's just us two chatting, and we forget the bit at the top corner to say how many people are tuning in, and we just let comments come through, and it's all good. It's not
Yeah.
scary at all.
In fairness, you do a pretty good job at hosting. You've got it pretty well set up over there. Because I was stressed. I was more than stressed, but it's the third one now, isn't it? And I'm pretty chilled with it.
You are, absolutely. I was just thinking, are you aware of the Oasis weekend that Elaine Fenton's setting up?
No.
That's because obviously at the moment she's the one who co-organises the Healing Weekend with Ron, and she does the Lighthouse, and she did do Lupton. She's doing a lot of online events now, so I might have,
really?
if you're not there, I'll invite you to the group and just drop her a message, and because it'd be nice to see you on doing a workshop or doing something on there.
Yeah, I haven't really got any content as such, which is probably a bit stressful. Yeah, no, that's a cool idea. I'm getting slowly more confident with it, and slowly more sort of just me. I feel like, when you set out to do something or set out to be someone, more importantly, you can change certain qualities of the person you are, and that's just not what I'm realizing is not the right thing to do.
I'll invite you.
Yeah.
So, Dawn, I'm constantly being told I've got something I need to release from my past. Can you please pull a card to give me an idea what it relates to, please?
I don't really need to pull a card because I have spoke to you a few times, Dawn, and Peter. Now, what I'm all right. What I'm aware of, or maybe not aware. I don't know if awareness is the right thing, but you're, on my experience of communicating with you, is that you're quite shy on initial sort of get go. Although you're quite a confident person, it's that initial meeting. Now the card is Wheel of Fortune, which is not relative in any way, shape, or form. If I'm being brutally honest, to the way that I feel. What I feel is past situation, past time, where you're forced to shut things down. You're forced to be more secretive with the way you want to live. I do feel like your path is of the spiritual sense has been one for quite a few lives, and in the past you'd have got shut down, you've been sort of victimized for it. So that is my gut feeling, is that the work that needs to be done is in past tense, as you say. Where's your thing? Something to release from my past. Yeah, it's not past. Not past this life. It's past previous lives. Now I want to take you to a tree. I don't know why I want to take you to a tree, but just sit with it and be with it, and express your feelings and your life, because there's something about nature that's very telling, and I don't know why this is coming through this way. There's something about nature that's very telling that will give you the message you need to understand or know, or certainly the feeling. But your hold up is not from this life; it's from maybe two previous. And of course, two previous, you would have been seriously persecuted and shut down for your beliefs and the way that you want to do things and live. It's a. I mean, I don't know you enough confidently to say that you're timid, but from my experiences with you and the way that your energy is that you're not fully confident enough to live in the way that you should be living now, and it's been dragged through from past lives. And the Wheel of Fortune is quite relevant to that, because the around that initial picture is angels and images from the past. It's wings. It's related to beliefs. It's related to the way that we're living now, but reflected from the past. Where we're not ready to embrace the change, I feel, is more important than anything. You know, when you live in a different way, and understand that's fine, without sort of hiding behind a colourful exterior, things become slightly different. That probably sounded really bizarre, but
Amazing, Kieron. Amazing. Anna Smith, she's all worded out, but she could listen to us all day. Ah,
it's fine. That's fine. Wow.
We'll come on tomorrow at 7 o'clock in the morning. Let's do 24 hours of just talk.
24 hours of the life, you know. I'll drive you to Tiverton. We can sit and talk in lunch. It's not a problem. It's really not that exciting. That's the thing, isn't it? I harbour all this, all these useful information for opportunities like this where I can just spout it. If anybody's ever had a reading with me, I always prepare people that I waffle. I don't really ask questions, and I don't really give anybody opportunity to, because I just waffle. And that, unfortunately, that's I have to give that pre-warning to everybody. It's yeah, it can be difficult. Bless you, Dawn. Do you know what's frustrating is that, and I don't know if it's an appropriate platform, but you seek refuge in the wrong places. I know that you've been a big part of the church in the past, and certainly with Peter helps you so much bring that confidence out and bring you through to where you need to be in this life. But you just need to take that jump, or that it's about expression, isn't it? It's about expression and feeling, and being confident enough to express yourself in the way that feels comfortable, rather than I was speaking to someone, not recently but in the past, where she said it seems you have to have dreadlocks to be spiritual. Now, I've never had dreadlocks and I wouldn't wish to, but quite often, isn't it, that there is a stereotypical image for the way that this path should be? And people, certainly I've been drawn to it in the past, and people tend to, at some point in their spiritual life, follow this look or this way of being. And if that's not something that comes naturally to you, or that is to fit in, I guess is the word I have to say, or to be spiritual, then there's something that you're not quite getting. Which I'm not saying that is you, Dawn. That is just generally how I waffle. But just release any pressure on yourself in this moment, and just be, because you've got so much love and light. Because I know that'll get on Dan's nerve, but essentially to give, so much healing to give, so much, just even down to the small things. And if you're not confident or comfortable enough to be able to do that naturally, it's about challenging yourself in this moment.
I like that, because it was a week ago that Peter and Dawn came round to see me, and it's interesting you were saying about the stereotype kind of thing. I think plastic shaman, is it? There was a guy on the virtual healing weekend. Yeah. He was talking about the plastic shamans, those who dress like they know it, and talk as though they know it, but they don't. And it was proven right by the person that followed him. I won't go into any more detail. I'll leave.
That's a different moment.
Before they try and shut me down. But yeah, so absolutely spot on there. Fantastic. And Anna, I think I think a reading with Kieron would be great. Absolutely.
I think you're welcome to. That's not a problem. But these lives are great for one thing, that it's very sort of lit, isn't it? And then when you come for a reading, not saying things are mind-blowing or things are insane, but it's also very direct. Anybody that's been for a reading with me knows that I say things in a way, or just general life, say things in a way that doesn't really beat around the bush, unless I'm confident that it's different, you know. Um, yeah, it's probably a bit direct, but that's what it has to be.
Absolutely. So what are you doing at the moment, reading wise? Are you doing Skype, Zooms, phone calls?
Yeah, I can offer any of those. It's not a problem. Obviously, old Boris has made things a little bit more difficult in terms of a sit down reading,
Good old
because
Boris.
that is the thing to do. Let's shut down all of economy apart from the things that make real money.
Sounds like an episode
But
from
yeah,
Bodger and Badger.
yeah. Apart from we're really living it, which
Yeah.
is frustrating.
And
But yeah,
COVID
no,
is
that's
my
cool.
potato.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if Dan Rock's conspiracy theory will be quite as popular as the light that you bring, but hey, you got to do your thing, ain't you? You got to do your thing.
Absolutely. Absolute. We've got to spread a little bit of light and a little bit of love, because there's a lot of
It's all
hate and
jovial,
there's a
isn't
lot
it?
of dark.
Yeah. It's all jovial, and I think if you can find a place where you skip through life doing that, then it's really not so bad.
It's not. It's all good. It's going to be all good. Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
We're nearly coming to the end.
Oh, look at Nancy.
I love
I
Nancy.
live near Tiverton. You can waffle over a couple in the garden, and damn, Kieron, if you feel used, I feel you used to use those cards previously, and on your mediumship pathway, and more to come. I
I
don't
would love
like
to meet
labels,
you.
Nancy. You can waffle over. I really don't like labels, because it then gives an expectation that you are something that maybe that day you can't deliver.
Yeah.
It's all right if your label is "I'm a shopkeeper," then people can walk into your shop and get what they want, providing that's what you advertise. You know, if I said I am a tarot reader, a medium, uh, a rainbow healer, a troll, I don't know, any of those things could be possible, but it's what you bring to me as well. You know, those processes that we all invoke on are two-way, essentially.
You.
What's this? What are you doing, Dan?
When you
Are
said
you
a
having a moment?
rainbow healer, I just had a thought of a Care Bear.
Yeah, uh, that's fine. I'm all about that, I guess. But yeah, do you know what? It's and this is why I've come to love this situation, is that you can be a bit of a knob, and it's fine because it's accepted and it flows that way. But you know, I'm very much like that in life. If we can get along and have a cup of tea and take the mick out of each other, then that's brilliant. But
Absolutely.
Nancy, don't.
Let's go and find Nancy. Let's go and have a cuppa. And I like
Yeah.
how it's put in the garden, and Dan, it's almost like you can bring your dog, because we'll be in the garden.
Oh, to be honest with you, I didn't even read it that way. I'm thinking my point is the second part, which is great, but that's fine. We can all sort of in the middle somewhere, providing you don't have really nosy neighbours that are going to stitch us up. get
I had two
busted by the
people in my
5 a.m.
garden. I had two people in my garden this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's all right.
Social
Mediumship's
distance.
path is quite interesting. Isn't it interesting? I part of me wonders if I'm aware that everybody has this skill set, and that maybe it's not for everybody, but where does it end and where does it begin? Do we push ourselves enough to learn new stuff, or is it I'm comfortable doing this? Well, it's really difficult, isn't it? Who knows if in that future thing this is going to become something more. In this moment, I'm trying to really jump out of my comfort zone and do these things that stress me out a little bit, like lives and like sort of reading. I know that sounds silly. I advertise as a reader, but when life is a bit of a rubbish time, you just lose confidence with it. So doing it in real time is such a invigorating thing. I feel like the herbal essence person under the shower flicking my hair, because it's just like a sort of real moment, you know. Yeah, you have to be there.
Luce is going to be watching from the beginning now. And yes, Kieron needs to come to see the Roadside Gypsy. He needs to come to my house. Have a cuppa.
That is you.
I'm the Roadside Gypsy. Yeah, it's a long story throughout lockdown, because I used to, before we could afford a gardener to do our back garden, I used to have a table, 2 chairs, and a tablecloth out the front garden, out the front door.
Right.
So people could come and pick up their crystals and go. And that's where Roadside Gypsy came from.
Did you put your horse around the back garden?
Yes. Yes. She's a northerner
Nancy,
too.
I hope you're not offended. Where are you from, Nancy? Where am I from?
Yeah.
Barnstable, mate. I am a Devonian through and through, but I have horrible tendencies to jump on accents just because I can. And Nancy, please don't be offended by my northern banter, maybe. I love northerners. They're great. And northern gravy is probably one of the best.
But down here, everyone treats that as a northern place.
Wow. Have you seen where Exeter is, mate? I'm right down the bottom. You might as well be a northerner.
We're in the middle of the country. The Midlands. It's not called the Northlands. It's called the Midlands. Leicester. Although I don't want to say Leicester because they're currently in lockdown, so you know.
Jeez. Yeah.
Cheese, pork pies, the Balti. Great thing came out of Leicester.
Mulberry. It's an exciting place by the sounds of it.
Pork pie. Yes.
Yeah. Do you know, I think we should organise a class outing. I've been really keen to do this, and I feel like I found my audience. Let's go in a class outing and see some shit, because there's so many things and places that I'd like to go, but without the right people. Being my wife, my wife loves to be dragged around to these places, but the kids are not very interested. So let's go on a class outing, find somewhere to call, and go and do it.
What do you want to go? Do you want to go and see how pork pies are made?
Is there a pork pie factory? I'm all down for a factory tour.
Yeah, that's in Mount Mowbray in Leicestershire. That's where pork pies come from.
Yeah. It's all about the fat content, isn't it? And the pastry.
Or do you mean, can we go and see some stone circles on Dartmoor?
It's probably more appropriate. There's some wicked places up that way, isn't there?
This is it. And do you know what? I am waiting for the time that we can all get together at a stone circle on Dartmoor. I've been promising this group right from the word go through back in March that we are going to meet in Dartmoor. So absolutely, Kieron, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Absolutely, mate.
Janet says
Right.
she's a Devonshire dumpling, which I'm
Bless her.
I'm proud of you.
And Laurie, I wish you weren't in America, because I really, really would love to see you. So yeah, Anna's up for a spiritual road trip. Let's get it on.
Yeah, and it's one of the only places in the UK you can wild camp. Interestingly enough, so that'd be good fun. I know you had an astrologer, or you was talking about it, and I respect the moon and the cycles of different things. But these places, I feel, should be celebrated all the time. You know, it's not just let's congregate because it's summer solstice. I think it's let's congregate because we can, and
Absolutely.
feel those energies and the things that are there for the other 340 days of the year where people don't celebrate it.
Absolutely. Laurie, you are welcome anytime to stop by and see a gypsy. It would be a pleasure to host you. So yeah, so when are you next on live?
I am on live. I haven't committed to anything. I've got one on the 26th. But I can drop links and things too. But I will possible really. I'm quite keen to get rolling with that and support my audience. My audience have been brilliant, you know, because there's been times where I've not been active or participating in that for a long time, and a lot of them have stuck by me, which is great because it's strangers, you know. A lot of people I don't know, but it's all relative in a way. So I'd quite like to give something back to those guys on a fairly regular basis. But yeah, it's time, isn't it?
Absolutely. That is it. I mean, we're taking a little break now. The next time I'm on Facebook Live will be next Wednesday with my next special guest. Because my next tomorrow I'm off because I've got a meeting with the radio station. Friday we're on Zoom because we're doing the quiz. And Monday we're on Zoom again because we're starting our little get together on Zoom to do some development. Well, it's an introductory.
What's the criteria for the Monday group? Is there
no criteria?
Is there boxes that need to be ticked?
No, I have no idea what. It's literally, do you want to just come on board in a Zoom meeting and, you know, discuss what we want to do, where we want to go. It would be, you know, organizing a road trip, you know, that kind of thing. We've been doing this for so long now, and for so long it's either just been my face or a special guest. Going on to Zoom, it's now time to really see the audience, to see the viewers.
Yeah.
And I'm just holding the space. If somebody wants you to come on one Monday and do some tarot readings, then I'll go back, contact you and go, hey, would you like to come on Zoom on a Monday and do some tarot readings for some people? If somebody wants the astrology back, Danielle, I'll contact Danielle and go, hey, would you mind just doing half an hour, 45 minutes or an hour talk on something to do around astrology for the group? So just coming together and visually seeing each other. But yeah, on Monday, it's just going to be an introductory day, just to see how many interest there is, what we can do, and just taking it away from Facebook and put it into Zoom where it's a little bit more personal, it's a little bit more private. so then other people can start opening up and giving ideas out. So yeah, that's what Monday is. It's only going to be one Monday a month. The third Monday of every month is when we come on board to do it. So it's not wholly committed. You don't have to be there every single Monday. It's just one Monday a month. We get together and do something special, do something as a group.
Yeah, no, it sounds good. It sounds where, you know, that's where energies need to be moving, isn't it? It's more sort of giving back, participating.
That's it. It's about us learning, you know, and you know, you could come on and do a little bit of tarot and explain a little bit about it. And if we've got tarot decks, we can have them in front of us and learn it a little bit along there. We can have someone come on and teach us to read tea leaves. It's about what we can do. And obviously my expertise is only crystals. I don't do anything other than crystals. So I'm more for getting people on board and discussing it more in depth of getting special people on and really getting together and learning things.
Sounds brilliant.
Absolutely. But anyway, let's draw this evening to a close.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Kieron, for being on. And thank you so much for coming on for the last 2 Mondays. And yeah, if I ever get stuck, if I want somebody else on with me, you are definitely top of my list, mate. Thank you so much.
It's just nice to have an audience to waffle to instead of my mind, you know. It's a good place to be. And you guys, you and Adam, like, just have created the perfect network, if you like, in a way, isn't it? It's just a good honest place to be.
It is. And I'll tell you what, the people that are on here, they mean the world to us. And some of these have only joined us from March, but I have such strong connections with them. And some of these I've only just seen their profile pictures. I've not even seen them face to face, which is another reason for the Monday night gathering. It's just to see people face to face, because I care so much about these guys. Yeah. More so than some people I've known all my life. It's, you know, but we've got a real good group and we're so blessed. It's amazing. But I'm going to let you go. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening, mate. And I'll look forward to seeing some updates on you going live on Fusion Tarot.
Yeah, no worries. Yeah, no, I really appreciate it, guys. Thanks very much for a good evening and a good experience. You know, it's brilliant, and everybody that gets involved is equally as magical. It's
absolutely
it's a pretty good experience.
Love to you all, and I'm going to drop you down, and then I'm just going to round up the show. But have a good one, mate. Thank you so much, and
take it easy.
See you soon, mate.
Yeah, bye-bye, mate. Take care.
Bye. He's an absolute diamond. I like him. I love his energy, and yeah, there'll be future work there, no doubt, for the two of us, because it is nice to see 2 males on a show. So yeah, as I mentioned in there is no quiz tomorrow night. Adam's on a driving lesson. I'm in a meeting. Friday is our crystal quiz, which is on Zoom. So if you want to be part of that, please do message us so we can send you the links to join us there. Saturday and Sunday, we're not doing anything on here. And Monday night is our first get together on Zoom. So the next time I'm back on Facebook Live will be next Wednesday, where I've got the lovely Dawn Claude joining us. For those of you who have been on the Oasis, you may have seen her workshop about the pain, joint pain. So she's coming on to talk a little bit more about that. I am live on Instagram Friday morning at 10 o'clock to do some live card readings and some questions and answers. And I will be going back on Instagram at 3 o'clock to do the crystal school run. I'm just going to take a crystal and talk about it for half an hour, 45 minutes. Like I said to Kieron, thank you guys so much for, you know, when people, when special guests come on and they thank us, they're not just thanking me, they're not just thanking Biggles, they're thanking you guys. And everyone has said what a warm welcome, how they've loved doing this. And it's given them the courage. And so many people have now gone on to do their own live videos, to do their own live feeds. And it's brilliant. It's really nice, just giving people a little bit of confidence or giving them a platform to talk about their passions. It's what it's all about. So I will bid you all a good night. I will see you somewhere, someplace at some other time. But until then, have a good one. Keep smiling. Always look on the bright side of life. See you all soon. Bye-bye.